Okay, so I'm probably just gonna start it out and you'll figure out how it goes, so we're gonna be good.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm unmuting now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the second round of the AOR GT3 Tier 2 League, and this time around we're at the Silverstone GP circuit. It's the home of the British Motorsports, and as you can hear, there was a little tap in the background there. I got a little bit of a treat this time around because I'm not alone in the commentary box, and I've actually got King-Kodiak with me.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. Yes, it is indeed me. I returned to my roots. It was the first GT3 stream I did for AOR. It was my first complete season, was for Tier 2. It was called Pro back then. And after a last minute change, I was actually going to have a break this season. But after I'd given my Tier 1 spot to Yorkie, and thus reuniting the original Tier 1, or Elite Tier as it used to be called, commentary duo of Fizzy and Yorkie. Whilst I did stand in for Yorkie last week, he was actually on holiday in Canada last week, so I stood in for him to do Tier 1. But I decided that I had the bug, I had the itch to carry on commentating, so I was quite happy that Insul has allowed me to join him in the commentary box for Tier 2. So I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, as you know, it's really hard to commentate alone sometimes, so thank you so much for joining me.
Well, my pleasure, my absolute pleasure. 27 drivers on track then, or in server at the very least. Number of names, there's actually a few names I did commentate on in my very first season. And they are, there's at least two, if I can find them in the list. Where are they? Struggling actually to find them. There's one. It's Neptune he's opted for the red McLaren. Or EZ Neptune as he was referred to back then. He's dropped the clan tag. And did actually get, in Season 6, he actually got his, what I believe is his one and only race win, the BMW Z4. And that very season, this man sealed the championship for that tier. Reload 7105 in the McLaren, I believe it was, back in Project CARS 1 for Season 6. Season 5 was my first full season. And here we are, Season 11.
It's been a while, hasn't it? Okay, so you said Rillo. I'm trying to find him in the standings here. I have them up on the screen. Yeah, he did not participate in the first race, so I was... about Neptune, though, he finished 14th. Do you think that would be like a... Is that expected from him?
He by his own admission, he rather struggled last week at Algarve, so he may well... But he's not confident on his performance against the others. Also joining us, actually, as a bit of a guest driver is this man. Andrex, he again has opted to be a guest driver for this season as opposed to signing up to... I mean, he was in every single season from 1 up to, I think, Season 9 or Season 8 perhaps, and has opted to sort of do sporadic guest drives. And so I get to commentate on this man again. He's opted for the McLaren this time.
Yeah, interesting choice there. And he is, if I'm not mistaken, is he still in first in the Endurance League?
Certainly up there. I haven't actually looked at it because unfortunately I had to miss the last endurance because I was actually away. So I'm not actually sure where he stands, but he's certainly the coordinator. He is the brains behind the Endurance League, and it was very highly rated in that particular area.
It's become a little bit of a veteran in my eyes, at least. For considering how I'm kind of new to AOR, but been around for a little while. There's some lag on my end, as I think there was a Lambo there going sideways across my screen, so
okay,
my internet keeps up. I think I've fixed the issues from last time around, so we should be fine. Yeah, so talking about excuse me, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're starting to see some times come on the board. Zero Stefan and WMDR Martin in the Lamborghinis have got their times on the board, and just as I say that, J Cool in the Audi. We're seeing low 2 minutes. Oh wow, certainly low 2 minutes with Daru then. 2 minutes 0.8 for him, just shy of a second ahead of J. Cool. Zero Stefan with a 2:02 and WMDR Martin with a 2:03 on the board. Now, when I was commentating for Tier 1 last time out, also Exodus getting a 2:04 along... Oh, wow, that's coming thick and fast now. T-Rip getting on the board as well with a 2:04. Who else has just jumped in there? Midweek Coma in the Mercedes 2:01. 0 with Capo. I believe it was last week's winner in the black Lamborghini, 2 minutes 0.9, 400ths of a second behind Daru at the moment. Now, in Tier 1, the Lamborghinis have got the biggest representation. It looks like it's the same for here in T2.
Oh, absolutely it was. I think they all of them got a little bit tired of the Audi and then wanted to change, and then they went for the Lambo as it's kind of the next one in line. So yeah, as far as I know, I think they're quite similar to the Audi, except there's some few aero adjustments that you can actually a fair fewer adjustments on the Lambo compared to the Audi. So there have one Audi still. So
from what I understand, the overall. The performance overall throughout the season seems to favour the Lamborghini more than the Audi. There's a fair few Audis out there. Porsche, Murph, 87 with the lead. Porsche time 2:01.95, just over a second behind Daru's time at present. Neptune, my old friend, 2:02.2 in the McLaren. Charging on. Zero Stefan was one of the first to get a time on the board, and he's just improved to a 2:01.2. Just 3/10 off the top spot. Wow, it is pretty close. Top 4 at the moment. Lots of time still to come in, of course. Someone is having connection problems. We seem to be bouncing between 26 and 27 drivers at the moment. As for Howie in the Z4, very nice. He is currently 10th, 2:02.726. Lindholt in the black and green Lamborghini, 11th, 2:02.776. Storm. There's quite a few names I recognise from the Endurance League, so it's good to get, good for me personally at least, to commentate on these guys in several different areas. That very colourful white and pink Lambo there for Storm. TBW, a long-standing coordinator for AOR. He's in the Merc. Oh, he's had an argument with something.
Yep.
That looks slightly that looks very rearranged. Oh dear, that's not going to help. So 2:03.1 in the Merc. Oh, look at that! By 22 thousandths of a second, Andrex, our guest driver, has actually got the pole time in the McLaren. Now he has actually said he will start from the back of the field. He's not wanted to get in the way of any kind of championship battles, but the top 3 separated by less than the 10th. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, I was actually really interested in see where Andrex would place here, considering his blistering pace in endurance. So I was kind of like, is he gonna start from? But I realize how it is now. As I say, he's gonna start from back of the grid because he's not gonna be in contention for any. Yeah, considering season 10, it was just incredible finale for us in Tier 2 because there was a 1 point difference between the first and second place, and it was actually taken because of a qualifying point as well. So.
Oh right.
Yeah, I realize Andrex is going to start from back there, so yeah. Andrex is showing his pace as usually, but that's Door then. He showed some good pace in race 1, I remember. As far as parts I saw of it, considering yeah, Door had some good pace.
You did struggle a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, so it's actually, this field is kind of a little bit more, I would say, diverse. It's a lot of Lambos, of course, but it's actually cars in the field now that we've never seen. Almost in the the McLaren was I believe TPW raced it just as a guest driver, and then we had an NSX as well. That was maybe season 9. So it's cool to see that the Porsches are becoming more active as well. So not just so it doesn't become like the Audi or Lamborghini league. It's cool to see more cars in the field.
Like season 8 and 9, that became just quite dominated by the Ferraris.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, I realized there's actually a really funny story. When I raced in Endurance League, it was in season 3, and I raced the Ford, and I spent days tuning that thing, and I was like, I felt quite happy with my pace in the car. Like I felt like I used all of it, and then I tried a Ferrari with the stock setup, and I was immediately like 0.3 of a second faster. 3/10 up, and I was like, I should never try another car again. Yeah, so
Andrex found the same actually when he was doing testing for when we were doing season 8. He went for the M6. He's very much a fan of not running the dominant car. He's very much one to give something else a try. So he was reluctant to go for the Ferrari, but he spent quite some time. Oh crikey, the checker flag is out. Actually went much quicker than I thought it would. as a DOR actually currently are on pole man 2 minutes point 6. Oh no, Midweek Coma has just jumped up there with that 2 minute point 682. With DOR second, Murph 87 is third, Andrex is out there, but I'm not sure he's on a time. Oh, he might be on a time lap. It's getting the tail to kick out quite nicely there. Yeah, as I was saying, Andrex did not want to run the Ferrari because it was considered to be the overpowered car. He wanted to run something else. But even he spent quite some time tuning the M6, jumped in the Ferrari and was immediately quicker. So he found exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it was not a good feeling, really, considering how I was like battling so hard with the Ferraris, and I was thinking like I could be in that car, and I could probably be in front of these guys that I was battling with. So yeah, it was a sour feeling, but of course, as we've banned it now, it's been fixed. So yeah, hopefully it comes back though, because a beautiful car, of course, it's fun to race, but it's a little bit too fast. So yeah. Okay, so checkered flag is out.
Yeah, Capo is 6th and did not improve with that 2 minutes point 9. Just over 2 tenths, indeed, just over 3 tenths. It's the top 7. So, wow, that is close. PT getting into 9th position then in the Audi 201 at treble 2, and he's had that time for a while. I think Andrex is still out there. He could well improve on his time. He will be starting with the tail. Oh, a little bit wide, then that's a big moment of oversteer. That's probably put that one to bed, and he did actually improve towards the end. Wow, that qualifying session just disappeared. But there it is, Midweek Coma again in the pole time, 2 minutes point 6 with the DOR Andrex, who will, of course, as we mentioned, be starting from the back. Merv 87, Dabu, Capo, Migzorn, Zero Stefan, Pitti, and Dopey rounding out the top 10. We didn't really see Dopey do his lap, but fair effort there with a 2:01.4. Then WMDR Martin, Seamus, Grease Monkey, J Cool X Cole, S for Howie, Exodus, Relo, and unfortunately that's as far as I got. Relo, the Neptune, Ticklish Picker, we got Lindholt, Ryan Winch, Van Seen. Now that's not a name I recognise, so welcome to you. Van Seen, Trip, Matster, and Storm rounding out our field. We're down to 25, so we have actually lost a couple of drivers. I know there was a couple of people that were having some connection problems right at the beginning. I think we have actually lost Shaggy Dan. That's one name I do notice has dropped out, unfortunately, and was not able to return before the race was due to begin. That's a bit of a shame.
Yep, I brought the standings up on screen now. As you said, the racing was really close in the qualifying here. I just wanted to show the people that the standings here. We have Capo in the first with 51 points there from round 1. He has that one extra point because he qualified in first as well, so it was a dominating performance from him there as he qualified on pole and then kept it through the race. When I came back into the race, I think I saw him in the third or something, so I think he clawed back in first position again. Yeah, so strong showing there from Capo, and then we have Murph in second and Dopey in third. And then we have the team championship, and then that's DLMT E-Motorsports with Capo and Lindholt. Then GC Racing with Migzorn and Dopey. And that's a really difficult name to say. Is that QR8 Can? That's kind of a Huracan R8. R8 Can Hunters Motorsport with Door and Pitti. So yeah, Door and Pitti finishing in 5th and 7th in round 1. So getting those points because of both of them being kind of up in the field there. But,
and they're in Audis as well. I mean, if they were in Lamberts as well, that would make sense. But there we go. Midweek Coma then. Actually on the front, so the front row, bearing in mind that Lamborghini is the main car in this league, the front row is actually Mercedes Audi. And then McLaren third of Andrex, who I would say is likely to fall to the back. And then it's Porsche, and there goes Andrex putting over to the side. He has indeed honoured that agreement. So actually first Lambo is Capo, then in what is now 5th position. It's actually Merc Audi, Porsche Audi. A great effort then by Murph 87 to get that bright green Porsche into 3rd place. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Murph having a little bit of a leg up there on Capo, considering how Capo is in first and Murph is in second in the championship. So Murph qualifying better than Capo there. So it might a little bit of a fight going on between them there. They're not too far off each other. So yeah, Dawu qualifying 4th. He is in 8th at the moment in the championship. So you might see some hefty battles going on in the front there.
Absolutely. And like I say, Dawu in 4th with Capo directly behind. And it is Migzorn. He is running the Audi as well. With Zero Stefan. Next Lamborghini, 7th position. As they now come into Brooklands and Luffield on the parade lap. Pitty in the next Audi down the road. Dopey, Audi, WMDR Martin, Lamborghini. Is it Seamus? I would say Seamus, possibly.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Seamus, yeah. In the blue Porsche, in 11th position. Grease Monkey in the colourful Lamborghini in 12th. X-Cole in the Audi, 13th. S for Howie. In the Soul running Z4 in 14th position. Exodus, 15. Rilo in the Lamborghini in 16th position. Neptune, McLaren in 17th. TBW in the Mercedes, 18th. Lindholtz, Lamborghini rather, in 19th. Ryan Winch, I think that is indeed Lamborghini. I got lost on which car he was in for a moment. So now come through Maggots and Beckett. Vancine in the bright green Porsche, 21st. Tripp in the Lambo in 22nd. Master Lamborghini 23rd. Storm in the white and pink Lambo 24th. And Andrex, despite qualifying 3rd, he's a guest driver in this race, has opted to start from the back of the field. He will have a very, very busy time. That's what it looks like from Andrex's point of view. And he's very nervous when you are just about to form into the grid, which you were. Oh, is that someone? I thought that was a Porsche facing sideways for a moment there, but it's probably just really giving it plenty on his tyres. But yeah, Andrex, he just got the whole field ahead of him. It's very, very nervous time when you are getting into the formation, and there you see from the front how compact it is. And this is when the tension really starts to build.
Oh yes, especially in that pole position, as you can, if you can bring up the map, it's going to be easier to see when they. I'm not too familiar with Silverstone, you see.
I can help you out with that. Don't worry about that. And we are racing here at Silverstone. That's midway coming out a great start. Look at that, Dawu trying to get an outside move. We're looking at 3 wide coming into Abbey, and Dawu backs out. Oh no, big problem as we have sideways cars. Murph was facing the wrong way. Dorr was facing the wrong way. I think Dopey's managed to get through it. But terrible start then. Cars falling through the field. Dawu and Dorr. There is Dorr. That's a slightly rearranged front end to the Audi. I think Dawu, as we know, was involved in that. And that's Murph. He's already found the back of the pack. But that's... Oh, and he's got damage to the front of the Porsche. But no such atrocity then for midweek Coma. Capo now up to 2nd position with Migzorn.
That incident there with Dora's really played into with Murphy. Excuse me, that's played really into Capo's hands here, as Capo is now in 2nd and Murphy is now in the last position as well. So, excuse me, in 23rd. So yeah, brutal start there for Murph.
That's the way it happens, though. Unfortunately, it's so possible when you've got such a tightly condensed field. But the front of the field then beginning to kind of get into single file. Pitt looks like he's under pressure by Grease Monkey. In the Rainbow Lamborghini, there he is. That is very, very close. That's the view from the Lambo then. He's got a decent run, but he's going to have to, if he wants to get the move done, he needs to get it done quick because they're coming into Maggotts and Beckett's. No, he opts to jump back in position. Ooh, a little bit deep coming through Maggotts, but has got through that okay. Not going to lose any particular time. Seamus up to 7th in the Porsche. Then it's X-Cole in the Audi. He's had a great start all the way up there in 8th position now. Bit of a gap between himself and S4 Howie in the Z4. That is Neptune in the red McLaren directly behind. Look at this train of cars. That is 9th down to pretty much 15th before you get any kind of gap whatsoever. And that is Zero Stefan. There he is. The view from the Lamborghini. Oh, and that's TBW running wide as Zero Stefan's turning left into a right-hander. That's never usually a sign of good times. But has managed to keep that Lamborghini under control. And oh, that's Andrex coming in. That was Andrex flying into the pits, so it doesn't look like he got away with, unless he's just opting for a very, very early pit stop. We saw, we saw in Tier 1 that tactic used to great effect in some of their races. Mazda and Dawu also coming in. Dawu will be coming in for repairs, I would imagine. Now WMDR Martin brings his Lambo in as well, so 4 cars in on the end of the first racing lap, I should say.
Yeah, that pit there is going to be really powerful if you want that free air, considering how Andrex...
Oh dear, I saw someone just trailed at the back of the field. Ryan Winch was absolutely, seemed to have made a bit of a mistake coming through Abbey and found himself on the infield around Farm. So now he's quite a way off the back of the field. That's 7 seconds at least behind Van Seen. Andrex now back out of the pits. There he is in the McLaren, so he won't have to come through the pits again. It is a mandatory pit stop required in this 30-lap race. So the back four, Andrex, Matster, WNDR, Martin and Darbu have now served that. But look at this pack here. That is pretty much third or so down to 8th you can see in this pack. Actually, let's go with the roof cam of X-Cole. You can see quite a few cars ahead of him. Then you've got 3.5 seconds back to S4 Howie, who's leading that particular train of cars that is backed by TPW. There we go. So that is Z4, McLaren, 2 Lambos and the Mercedes. TPW is just closing in on a little bit wide coming through the second part of Beckett's own compromise. His run up to Chapel has managed to keep it steady. Looks like Neptune sizing up for, that's the battle for 9th. I mean, there's battles absolutely everywhere, as there always are, right at the beginning of a race. Neptune having a look at the inside coming to Stowe. It's actually forced him a little bit wide. Oh, but that's compromised Howie's line. Can Neptune do anything about it now? On the run down towards Vale. Oh, I did wonder whether he was going to jump on the inside. Opted not to go for that particular move. Looks like everyone else is kind of minding their own business. And Guido getting very, very close to the back of the McLaren. But at the moment, midweek Coma, there he is, leads by just under 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is actually starting to look a little bit like the GT5 league we had in the interim season there between the GT3 seasons, because there's fighting all over the place now, and I think the field is actually really competitive now, considering how earlier seasons in Tier 2 there's been kind of the aliens, semi-aliens as I call them, the ones that are actually coming into Tier 1, comes through Tier 2 and then kind of dominate the season, but this time it's been so tight, and this is what we want to see. As you can see, we're in lap 4 now, and that's sometimes when the field has been spread out, but there's still fighting going on all over the place.
Yeah, looking at Seamus then, he is the blue Porsche, as you can see, behind the Rainbow Lambo. Oh, is that Pity in trouble? Yep, he dropped that on the exit of Club, or coming through those turns. No, that's not Club, that's he's dropped it on Woodcut, so that's compromised his line there. He's lost him 6th to Seamus, and when the field is so heavily condensed, one mistake is very, very costly indeed. As further back there is Z4 still holding up the McLaren of Neptune, then, who goes to the outside coming into back into Beckett's. He's too wise for that. He's too experienced to try and move there. It's only really going to work if the person you're chasing makes a mistake, which of course Howie did not. So the McLaren continues to chase the S4. It's difficult to know where to look, and exactly as you were talking about, we had that with the Ginetta leagues, and this early in the race it is very difficult to know where to look. It's fighting up and down the field as Dopey continues to chase Migzorn. This is actually a battle. Are they teammates? They are, Dopey and Migzorn. Or they carry the same team name, whether they're actually teammates in this race, in this season rather.
Migzorn and Dopey are teammates indeed. They are in the GC Racing team, and they are in 2nd right now in the team championship. So hopefully they're going to try to keep it clean to have the... Oh, that's X-Cole.
X-Cole him. Oh, was that damage on the front of the car?
Yep, that was a lot of damage, I think. So he's probably going to be in there for a while.
Well, let's see if it's a... Oh, and that's Ryan Winch as well, bringing in the Lamborghini. It's difficult to tell from that camera angle whether there's any damage on the car. He is sat there for a while indeed in the Audi, but Dopey then continuing to chase Migzorn. That is for 3rd, so these two teammates in their respective Audis continuing to press on. Capo is closing in little by little. They were 1/1000th of a second difference in lap time, Midweek Coma and Capo, to Midweek Coma's benefit, so there's pace to be found in that Mercedes, but that lead has come down a little bit, so he's not going to have it his own way. He can't just look forwards and keep, and ignore the fact that ignore everybody behind him. Grease Monkey on the back of Pity as well, so we saw Pity make a mistake and let Seamus through. Grease Monkey then keeping the pressure on, but right behind him, and Neptune's actually gotten past S4 Howie. The McLaren has cleared that Z4, and he's already under pressure by Storm. That's the view from the white and pink Lambo. coming to Mackers and Beckett's now. And Z4 is really struggling. It's not inherently part of the car. We did actually have, when I was commentating Tier 1, a regular race winner was actually hiding in the Z4, so there is pace to be found in the car. But I understand that it's not the regular up front. Oh, that was Howie just touching the grass before they come through Stowe. But look how close that Lambo is pushing the Z4 along.
Yeah, that gap is not very big, as you can see. It's 2/10 now. And there they come out of the... Might get a little bit of a slingshot here. It's a little bit of a straight, not the longest one on the straight finish line, so might not be able to make a move. And there's action everywhere, as I said. Riddle, 12th, fighting, defending from Stefan behind him there.
Oh, Matster's opened up the penalty. He's opened up the penalty scoring with a 1 second penalty there. And Seamus is getting close to Migzorn, so whilst we were looking away, the blue Porsche has been closing in on that battle for the last podium positions. There's the next two in line. That's Pitty and Grease Monkey in the Audi and Lambo respectively. But Seamus has been doing pretty well and closing in that gap. Midweek Coma in the Mercedes up front has opened that gap up a little bit last time around. But that two-way battle between Dopey and Migzorn is going to get a little bit more crowded soon with the Porsche of Seamus pushing on, now coming down towards Cops. Such a fast circuit this, so any mistake does tend to be very costly because most of the corners are very, very fast, so if you make a mistake, you'll fly off the road.
Yeah, luckily there's I could if this was a street track, it would be probably one of the most deadliest ones because
very much so.
Yeah, as I said, if you make a mistake, there's huge runoff areas as well. So
it's true. That's for Howie continuing to try and press on, but he's lost that position to Storm. He's now 10th in the Z4 with TPW, Relo and Zero Stefan in very, very short succession in their Lamborghinis. Then DOR, one of the first people to pit. Of course, our pole man, or one of our ones starting towards the front in the black Audi. Look at this group of cars here. So that's DOR in the Audi. That's Murph and Exodus side by side coming up to Stowe. Porsche having the inside line is going to hang on to that 15th position from Exodus. Then you've got Tripp in the black and red Lambo behind. Van Seen in the next Porsche with Lindholt in very short succession. And we haven't seen him for a while. Andrex, he pitted at the end of the first racing lap, so he's pretty much minding his own business. By his own admission, he prefers to kind of keep his nose clean, keep pushing on, even though he's actually set the fastest lap by quite some way.
Yes, I just noticed.
Yeah, 2016, considering the next quickest was a 2024 by Capo. So again, Capo is really pressing on and keeping the pressure on Midweek Coma for that race lead. So Andrex is he's minding his own business, but he is pretty quick back there.
I just wanted to mention that Murph has actually caught 8 positions now. He had that incident in the front there in turn 1 at the race start and ended up in 23rd, and he's now in 15th, so he's been charging through the field. Of course, some of those positions are going to be pit stops, but yeah, I think he's got the pace in him to... He's set at 2:04, but I don't think that's representative of the... Or it might just be that the 8 positions he's gained is from pit stops alone, but yeah. It'll be cool to see if Murph can catch up here.
Absolutely, and there he is. Oh, I thought that was someone flying off the road there, but nope, Murph then in 15th, trying to chase down DOR. Do you say DOR or do you pronounce that door?
I just said Dora. It's probably DOR.
Only because he's got a capital D and capital R. That's the only reason I thought of it that way around. But look at Relo. Look at the chain of cars he's at the back of. That again, it's the Z4 at the beginning that's pretty much the cork in the bottle. It is S for Howie. Although he is keeping in touch with Storm, interestingly, in the Lamborghini. So look at that. That's Neptune in the McLaren just going out of the shot. And then it is 10th, right the way down to Murph in 15th. And actually beyond, because then there's a small gap and it's only a couple of seconds between Dora and Murph. Then you got Exodus, Van Seen, Tripp, and it ends at Tripp at the back of that particular train. Then Lindholm and Andrex aren't too far behind either. So that's essentially 10th to 20th in, 10 seconds at best.
It's going to be interesting to see if actually Andrex can catch a fair few of these guys now, because he's setting multiple seconds faster lap times now than the guys in front here, so he's probably going to be catching a lot of them.
Absolutely, then. As they come over the line. And it's still a 2017 again from Andrex. He's just a phenomenal racer. Oh, Capo's getting close to Midway Coma. That's I wonder if Midway Coma's made a mistake there, because the Mercedes was a tenth, well, half a tenth quicker than the Lamborghini last time around, but now that lead is down to 1.2. So I think Midway Coma's made a mistake somewhere. Now coming through Woodcock, coming down to Cops once again. So we'll see if Capo, look at the gap between them and Dopey behind. Dopey and Mixon. What was it? No, Dopey. Yes, Mixon was ahead of Dopey last time around, I think. So those two have swapped round, and there is the Porsche of Seamus chasing them now. So I think somewhere Mixon has made a mistake, and Capo is now right with him.
Just did some digging here, and I think actually Midway Com had some issues in the race one. He didn't qualify, excuse me, so I think he had some issues during qualifying. He got put in the back of the field, and then he got 24th position, I think, so he had definitely had some issues, considering his pace is so different now in round 2, so unfortunate starter for Midway Com, as he probably wants to fight for that title, as he definitely has the pace, as we can see here. But yeah, Capo, considering how he was able to catch first again in the first race after losing it, he might just be able to catch Midway Com here, as they're setting really close lap times here. But Capo actually had 6 tenths.
Yeah. It wasn't as much as I thought it would be, so maybe there was a mistake made in previous laps that has allowed Capo to close in. But yeah, half a second or 6 tenths thereabouts. Zero Stefan is in, along with, if I can get him, Zero Stefan, and stop moving. There, Murphy in the Porsche. Murphy in the Porsche has brought his car in. Lindholt is in as well, so another few people bringing their cars in. We haven't seen any incidents involving those particular cars, so I would imagine that is for tyres. Less than a second now is between Capo and Midway Coma, as Capo is on a fast lap at this point, so he's looking good to keep that pressure on the Mercedes. He wants that win as well. Jumping back a few cars, Dopey is trying to break free of Mixon. That is only 7 tenths between those two. Whoa dear! Commentator curse on Seamus. As soon as we look at you, he's overcooked Luffield and has put that one into the grass. What a shame, because he was on such a charge. That's Neptune's gone through into 7th in the McLaren, and he's having to pick his time well to get back on track. Here comes Howie then leading that particular train. Looks like Seamus should just about be able to get back up to speed without making Howie do any particular moves, and there we go. So the Porsche now back up to speed, but that's been costly. Exactly as we were saying before, one mistake may have only cost him one actual position, but it cost him a lot of track time.
Oh yeah, that was just about Seamus getting back up to speed there. As you can see, that's Howie and the Z4 just catching up to him so faster, but yeah, so touching on strategy, I had a chat with the shooter, which is in Tier 1. Of course, he's really helpful. He always helped me with some information about the tracks. And yeah, touching on strategy, there's actually TPW on the inside of Howie there. Oh, and they're touched.
Oh dear. Yeah, there was a little bit. The Mercedes just understeered into the Z4. That one could well come to the stewards afterwards. And TPW has allowed... Oh, that was a bit unlucky. He was actually allowing the Z4 back into position just at the point that the Z4 was coming in. So that was a little bit unlucky for the TPW. He was doing the right thing. He was showing sportsmanlike conduct to allow the position back just as the Z4 was coming in anyway. But look at this. This is a battle for the lead. That's the Lambo on the back of the Mercedes. Could Capo get it? We're certainly not going to be able to do anything in Brooklands this time, but every lap he's closed that gap in. It's now about half a second. Bearing in mind that gap was about 2 seconds for quite a number of laps. So we did five or six laps before Capo's reeled him in.
Oh, there's a little bit of lag on my end. I thought, yeah, both cars were off the track there, but I think we're good again now. As you can see, I think Capo and Movicom are kind of in a league of their own right now. As you can see, the gap to Dopey behind there is 7 seconds now. So, yeah, Movicom and Capo having a little bit of a fight on their own is probably going to be compromised when both of them have to pit, though. So.
Quad 202.1 from Capo last time around. That's one of the quickest laps we've seen. The only man into the 201s at the moment is Andrex, who is now there. He's up to 13th position now. Having pitted early on, he's just gone past Exodus and presses on then to... oh, hello. I was just looking at the gap with Capo then. I was talking about Andrex. And Midweek Comer's not letting that go. He was defending the inside line coming towards Stowe, but then jumps back to the racing line. Oops, no, that's legal. I wondered if Capo was going to fly off the road then. Is he going to dive bomb into Vale? No, he doesn't do that. Through the side chicane they come then. It's very deceptive. You stick the power on too early, you're going to jump off into the runoff area. It keeps it nice and clean. Let's see what the lap times were. Midweek Comer 2:03.0 and a 2:02.6 for Capo. There's only 4/10 between the two as they've crossed the line. So Midweek Comer can't afford to lose that much time again.
It's really interesting to see when you have these kind of battles in the... You can see that both of them just pushing each other to the limit, and that's what's caused this huge gap from the behind there, as both of them are just trying... Midweek Comer is trying to defend or create a gap from Capo, and Capo is pushing is pushing like hell to try and catch Midweek Comer again. So, yeah, both of them alone kind of in the field right now.
Yeah, it's nearly 7 seconds between the 7 Dopey. Dopey was 4/10, was actually on Midweek Comer's pace, and therefore 4/10 slower than Capo. Last time around, Migzorn another couple of times on the back of that, but Grease Monkey's actually on a good form, 2:02.6 last time in the Rainbow Lamborghini. He's got 3.5 to close down to Migzorn, so he could well have a battle with the two ahead before too long. Door is on the back of Seamus. There's 4/10 between the Audi and the Porsche. So a good battle for me there. Andrex has just jumped right through on the inside of the Season 6 Pro Tier Champion Relo in the Lamborghini. I think Relo probably let Andrex go there, as Relo last time was a 2:04.9, Andrex a 2:01.8. Actually, I've just spotted Doors actually getting the 2:01s. He's just got a 2:01.7. Wow, what stunning pace then from Door.
Yeah, that man has something he hasn't showed yet, I think, because he really had some pace in round 1, so I think it's time for it to come out now, and it seems like it has, as he's certainly put up the pace now to try and charge to their field. And as we have Seamus there that had that spinning incident, and I think his tyre should be back to temperature now.
Oh dear, someone's had a problem. Is S4 Howie's down in 17th. He had a 2:24 last time, so he's had a problem somewhere. That's Madster directly behind. So he has definitely had a problem in the Z4 at some stage. Migzorn is getting close to Dopey again. There's only 4/10 between the two Audis now. So has Dopey made a mistake? Yeah, 2:04.3 from the leader. There's two Audis, 2:03.3 from Migzorn, 2:02.6 from Grease Monkey behind. Seamus is in, so that rather kills the battle between himself and Door. Yeah, but Migzorn is right challenging his teammate again, but Grease Monkey is closing in. It's less than 3 seconds between those two now. Relo is in as well in the black Lamborghini. So a few pit stops going on there. Andrex now out to 11th, right on TPW. The McLaren are pushing the Mercedes along. Madster is still on the back of S4 Howie, with X-Goal on the back of Zero Stefan, and Daru with Lindholt. So still
that's
battles.
A damaged front end.
Just a little bit, yes. But Capo, of course, was keeping an eye on the lead battle. It looks like these two are getting back into their groove. Well, Midweek Comer with a 2:02.1 last time, 2:02.3 for Capo. Now coming through Cops into Magazine Beckett again. And this battle could well go on for is likely to go on for a very long time. We're fast approaching halfway.
Yeah, these guys are so clean. As you can see, they've been battling for so long now, and I can actually, I think I've seen Capo trying to just use more and more of the track. As you can see, he had just touched the grass there, so I think he might just be getting a little bit frustrated and pushing maybe a little too hard, and we might just see something happen in the end here. And that's actually TPW going really defensive there. Shutting the door on Capo.
That's Midweek Comer shutting the door on Capo. Wrong Mercedes.
Yeah, the other way around. Yeah.
There's Midweek Comer in. So Capo now is going to use this opportunity to try and get some clean air and get some good laps in to try and jump Midweek Comer in the pits. There is the Hot Wheels liveried Mercedes. Capo presses on. He's going to take over the lead of the race. There he goes. No, that was close. Dopey having a terrible line through Vale. And that puts Miggs on his case. But not able to capitalise. He just caught him at the wrong moment. He had to completely back out of that. Otherwise, we're going to slam into the back of his teammate. So that cost Miggs that momentum. Unless, of course, he opted to back out of it. He just saw the...
Might just come out just at the same time. If you can check on midweek, I think he's just come out at the pits, right at the same time as Neptune came by, so he is now in 7th. So yeah, I was just curious to see where he got out. As you can see on the map there's a little bit of air behind the midweek coma there, so I thought if he could manage to time that to perfection there and get out in that free air behind those two, but yeah, that's gonna put the midweek coma in a deficit in terms of lap time, excuse me. So Capo probably has to push like hell now to try and that's a very defensive line from Neptune there.
Absolutely, yeah. Neptune's staying very hard to the inside of Brooklyn. He's not willing to just let the Mercedes go. He's absolutely entitled to defend. That is, of course, for position. That's not a lap. Neptune is not a lap down from Midweek Coma, so he is perfectly entitled to defend that line. That's exactly what Midweek Coma does not want. He doesn't want to spend time stuck behind cars that are defending like mad, because this man is pressing on with no one anywhere near him to try and slow him down. 8 seconds to Dopey behind, so he's not having to defend from anybody either. Half a second between the two Audis still, or just over 6/10 when they come out of Chapel. There is Grease Monkey behind that gap around 2.3, so that gap has been coming down lap on lap on lap. I'm not sure, well, it kind of depends on the pit strategies as to whether the Lamborghini will get these two Audis before they come in. But I'm keeping an eye. Where is Capo? He hasn't come in again, so he's wanted to maximise that time in the free air. Of course, they don't have to come in until before the penultimate lap, I think it is. 2:02.7. Now that he's got no one ahead of him to put him off, and no dirty air from Capo. Let's see what Midweek Coma does. 2:06 last time because that was his out lap. He's got Neptune directly ahead of him, and Midweek Coma's last lap was a 2:20. Of course, 2:06 with the in lap, 2:20 would be the out lap. But yeah, with the McLaren ahead of him, 2:03.6, which is 2:03.3. which is still a pretty decent lap time, but he's behind where he was, so that is definitely going to be costing Midweek Coma time.
Yeah, I think this might just be putting a huge spanner in the works for Midweek Coma. As you can see, Capo isn't really setting the amazing lap times that he needs. So he, if I'm not mistaken, was it only Hendrix that set the 2:01s?
No, Dorr set a 2:01, but I think he was in slipstream when he did it. As he's now right behind Storm in the white and pink Lamborghini. Bearing in mind, those that have already pitted, and a number of people pit on the first opportunity, they will come good now, as they don't have to go anywhere near the pit again. A lot of people around still do. So I would say about half the field still have to come through the pit lane at some point. And it looks like Dorr is sizing up a move on the Lamborghini, but he's not going to really be able to do anything here unless he bullies that Lambo off the road. Oh, he gets very deep, comes through cops. Now heading down towards Magazabekis once again. You can see Dorr had to get out of that and how much momentum that cost him against the Lamborghini. Now comes in Magazabekis. You've got to be patient through here. If you go too hard into any one of these apexes, it compromises you on the next one. Dorr keeping that very nice and settled. He needs to stay in the slipstream of the Lamborghini if he wants to move into Stowe. And already that's Storm. Actually, he's parked it right in the middle. He's waiting for Dorr to commit. But Dorr's not going to be close enough to try and move. Gets himself known in the rearview mirrors, but that's put Storm off. Storm was nowhere near the apex. Coming through Stowe is Dorr going to try something on the inside of Vale. He's got to be a brave man to do it. He gets close, but he opts not to make the move this time around. It looks like Capo has continued, because we would have seen in the pits by now. So that's interesting. Midweek Coma is still behind Neptune. Actually, he's losing time to Neptune. 2:03.0 to Neptune. 2:03.2. to Midweek Coma, so it's not like the McLaren's going to be holding him up. He's not close enough for that. And of course, not too far behind is actually that battle we just seen, Storm and Dawes. Oh, that's the goal! Yeah, the commentator cursed him again by pointing the camera at him, overshot his braking point and spun the Lambo around. And Dawes opted to continue. No, he's trying to get... Oh, Storm struggling to get that car pointed the right way. That's Andrex that just shot through in the McLaren. door is actually slow to allow the Lamborghini back into position, doing the correct thing there. He's acknowledged. Oh, Storm spun it again. So Storm is struggling to get back into the rhythm. He's just too impatient to get going again. And I'm assuming the fuel's not really going to be an issue with these guys.
No, I was going to touch on strategy earlier on. The fuel is going to be enough. All the rear-wheel drive and front-engine cars are probably not going to pit for tires, but it could actually be a viable strategy for some of the mid-engine cars like the Audis and the Lamborghinis, because they're going to have to wear their... yeah, I was talking to Shooter earlier. He really helped me out here, and he's... Oh, that's the two teammates they're actually touching. Not any team orders going around here. Okay, so both of the teammates are actually racing right now, so with Migzorn actually defending from Dopey there, going a little bit defensive there, and then, yeah.
So once again, we catch up with these two Audis as they've swapped positions. So Dopey again was ahead of Migzorn previously. At some point down the road, they have swapped places. There's Grease Monkey in the Rainbow Lamborghini. He's getting to around about a second behind the two Audis, so he has been really closing in. 2:02.8 for Grease Monkey. That's Migzorn's time. 2:03.2 for 2:05.1. So it was last lap that Dopey made his mistake and lost that second position to his teammate. 2:02.2 from Capo. He is pressing on like a madman. But again, midweek coma. 2:03.5. So he's just not gotten back into the rhythm. As TBW's brought his Mercedes in, so that was from 9th position. Andrex still in the 201s and been there pretty much all race long. He is now up to 8th position, pressing on in the McLaren. Oh, I thought he'd actually gone a little too deep into Village there. Look at this. That is the Lamborghini Grease Monkey on the back of Dopey. I read it as Pity for a second. Pity's the car behind. That's what threw me off slightly there. There's an interesting four-way battle back here. This is 21st. This is Daru with Matster and X-Colin Zero Stefan all in very short succession. So they've had a battle back here for a while. 2 Lambos and 2 Audis. So no matter where you are in the field, there is generally battling to be found. But I'm very much interested on how this battle 2nd, 3rd and 4th is going to go. Bearing in mind how much quicker than the 2 Audis the Lambos being.
I'm actually afraid that Capo might just run away with it here, because he's actually setting 2:02.2s and midweek coma is 2:03.5s behind Neptune there. So Capo could just run this race till he has to pit in the free air, and then he might just get out on the track.
That's what he's
with the gap that he needs.
All it takes is one mistake for all that hard work to disappear. I mean, we just saw Storm spinning around along between the Village and the loop. So whilst that's a very valiant strategy, and absolutely... Oh, hello, there's something gone on here. Where's Dopey gone? Oh, there he is. I just suddenly saw the 2nd, 3rd and 4th names switch around, and that was why. Is the lead he was actually the 2nd GC Racing Audi has brought his car in. Well, he's going to promote a few people up a few positions. Of course, still keeping an eye on midweek homie. He's now over a second behind Neptune, so he can't really say that he's been held up by the McLaren. So he's just consistent. That's another 10th he's lost to Neptune. Neptune doing a pretty decent job. He's staying consistently in the low 203s in the McLaren. And Pity, he's being caught, I think, by the battle behind him. There he is, there's Neptune. Of course, midweek came in a very short succession behind. Storm has brought his white and pink Lambo in. So he will, of course, fall through the field. So that has rather broken up the battles that we were looking at. But Andrex now up to 7th. Bear in mind he qualified 3rd, started last. Has pitted on the first opportunity, now up to 7th place. Great chance then by the McLaren.
Yeah, that's actually really impressive, considering how a fair few guys in front of him have to pit still. So that's probably effective 5th position or something. And that's considering that starting from the last place, and it's just over halfway now, and he's in 7th already. So that's a really impressive charge there from Andrex.
He's only 24 seconds from the lead. So depending on who has to pit ahead of him, and I think all of them. I think all of the top 6 have to pit. Andrex could well be leading this race. Now, he did allude to the fact that he might opt to not actually finish the race. He may actually pull the car over to the side. Again, so as to not kind of upset the results too much, because of course he's not racing in the championship for this tier. And there he is in the McLaren. He is closing this lot in by 1.5 seconds last time around. King-Kodiak is still hovering around a second behind Neptune. And there's been a swap here. Grease Monkey's in. Grease Monkey has brought that charging Lamborghini in. So he will fall. It'll be interesting to see where he falls down to. He was third. And who's that? That's Neptune in. So Neptune in the red McLaren. In from 5th position, I think it was. Of course, because the pit lane entry is shorter than the actual raceway, it does jumble up the order somewhat. So it's difficult, unless you spot them coming in. It's sometimes difficult to spot what position they were in when they actually brought the car in. So Andrex now up to 5th. King-Kodiak is now challenging Pitty for what is now 3rd place. He's getting a bit twitchy coming through the loop there. But keeps it nice and stable and chases the Audi down the road. But he's lost. He's 20 seconds behind Capo. Capo does, of course, have to come in. But, you know, as you've said before, Intel, he's been lapping. Now we see King-Kodiak getting into the 202s with a 202.9. That's the first time I've looked at Andrex this time, and he isn't 201 with a 202.1. So he is still absolutely flying. Oh, that's an unusual line from Capo there coming through, Maggots. You'll have to watch doing that. I mean, we didn't. Oh, that's lag. Yeah, I got a lag moment there from Capo. Yeah, looked like he was going to lose it around Chapel, which of course might have been the reason why we saw him going over the grass just now. That behind isn't Migzor. I'm assuming that's Ryan that was already behind. It was. That's last place, 25th position, Ryan Winch in the Lamborghini. King-Kodiak is reeling in Pitty then, so he's going to have a battle for 3rd. If Pitty chooses to challenge him, there is Andrex in the McLaren behind. How far back is Dorr? Dorr is about 8 seconds back from Andrex, so we won't see him in that particular shot. Look at that, the Mercedes rather, is closing in on the Audi. A battle for 3rd is looming.
Yeah, King-Kodiak is catching Pitty here with Pitty setting almost 2 seconds lower lap times here, and Pitty getting a little bit of grass there. Might just upset his cornering, but it seems like he's managed to keep it good and using all the tractor to try and just get those few meters away from King-Kodiak there. So, yeah, King-Kodiak here charging as hard as he can, as he probably knows that Kappa is still in front there, as he sees it on the standings, and Kappa, as we talked about, has been setting blistering lap times now to try and create that gap that he needs. And so King-Kodiak charging hard for Pitty here.
King-Kodiak doing well to come through. The first few turns are quicker than the Audi ahead. There's Ryan Winch again in the Lambo. He will, of course, be under blue flag conditions. He will jump out of the way as they come into Brooklands once again. I was actually here where I watched the Silverstone Grand Prix. It was in the Luffield stand. That one. So I was sheltered from the glaring sun we had back in June here in the UK. I was happily melting away, but had a good time watching the cars come through there. This is a hell of a sound box, so everything sounds louder in there, which is great for pretty much anything that's coming through it.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. I really want to, like, you know, when you listen to the Formula 1 cars on the TV, they sound kind of like, you know, kind of hollow and not so good, but I really want to like to hear what they sound like in real life one time, because I think there's so much to it, more to it than as you can hear on the TV, of course.
I can vouch, yes, they sound much, yeah, exactly as you say, kind of a much more full kind of sound from real life, and that's Ryan Winch getting out of the way. Absolutely fair enough. Does it at the right time along the hanger straight, and King-Kodiak is staying to a much tighter line as Pitty runs a little bit wide on the exit. So King-Kodiak is staying much tighter to the apex. Oh, that's deep. That's going to really compromise his line. The Mercedes is going to have the inside line coming through. Club side by side, bit of door banging going on. No harm done. Both cars staying on the road. That is, of course, going to compromise them a bit, but King-Kodiak having the inside line then, coming towards Abbey, and he's got the move done before he's even got to the apex. Nicely done. That is 3rd position for King-Kodiak. So will Pitty continue to push? Bearing in mind, Midweekomer has been through the pits. I don't think Pitty has. And Andrex behind him definitely has. We know that much. So Midweekomer now has the opportunity to start chasing off after Migzorn. Oh! That was a bit deep then, coming through the loop, and Pitty, without a moment's hesitation, jumps through on the inside. That was a brilliant move then by the Audi. He had great traction, and Midweekomer thinking about an inside move coming into Brooklands, opts not to do it. But that does force Pitty into quite a wide line, and actually Andrex is right there as well. So the McLaren now getting involved in this particular battle. He'll be quite cautious, I would suspect. He'll take the opportunity if it arises, but he won't force a mistake. Is Andrex 201.480 last time around in the McLaren. Absolutely just a mind-boggling pace once again from the Tier 1 veteran. Oh, wow! That's... I think that was the Mercedes had a fairly decent run. And he's actually got ahead of Midweekomer. Coming through into Maggots, the McLaren gets the outside move on the Mercedes. Very nicely done. It's, it would seem that Midweekomer did not have a good run through Cobbs. He was a bit wide, had to back off. And that's cost him then 4th position.
This might actually be what could put Midweekomer off the first position there, because considering how he was actually past Pitty there for a moment and had some free air, but Pitty passed him again, and now he's been passed again by Andrex. So yeah, Midweekomer is gonna suffer in terms of lap time again. So yeah, Capo still Capo is put on a 19-second lead now, 20.
Migzor's in. That's how that's how that distance is rising so quickly. But yeah, Andrex is now up into the podium position. Pitty directly ahead. Is he going to defend from the McLaren through farm into village? Does Andrex dive on the inside? No, he opts for a safer line. Looks to the outside. Doesn't really go for a move, just making himself really obvious. Midweekomer is just about a second behind these two, so Midweekomer is struggling. It seems that when Midweekomer gets into the dirty areas, when he struggles the most, he seems to really find it difficult to keep that Mercedes really close behind another, as Andrex does not seem to have that problem whatsoever in that McLaren, as Van Seen brings his car. Look at that train of cars there. That's a lot of people in very short succession. So another potential battle there. If we jump back up to Andrex, he's nearly pushing the Audi along. Coming through Cops again. Coming through Woodcote, beg your pardon. You see, I get these corner names wrong. I've got a track map next to me as well. That's even worse. Now coming through Cops. Oh, and again, he's going to do the same move again that he did on Midweekomer last time around. The side-by-side, he's gotten ahead. He did indeed. He's done the same manoeuvre. Oh, he got very, very, very loose. He was offline. His line was compromised because he was still alongside Pitty. It took him slightly longer to get past the Audi than it did to get past the Mercedes. But that is second then for Andrex. He did indeed execute the same move 2 laps in a row on these two. So he should be able to run off into the distance. But there's Pitty again, thinking about an inside move coming up towards Stowe. I was going to say that's wide for Andrex, but he seems to kind of prefer that slightly wider line. Doesn't stick so hard to the apex. Looking for a higher exit speed, but it's not a very long straight down to Vale, so I'm not sure that's quite what he was aiming for. Now coming through into Club to complete the lap. And that is 22 seconds between Andrex and Capo. So surely Capo's thinking about bringing that in soon. I mean, we're in the final 10 laps now. He's got to bring it in at some point, but Pitty's wide. Coming through Abbey. That's of course going to cost him time in the McLaren now. Midweekomer's right on his tail. And he's go on.
Yeah, this might be where actually Midweekomer gets that position from Pitty back again, considering how he lost it earlier on. And yeah, I really can't wait until Capo goes into the pits, because I don't know the pit window, the pit time here. So it could be a really close fight, considering I do think that Capo is going to be in front of Midweekomer, but it's going to be exciting to see when Capo finally comes into the pits and might just come out with the Midweekomer, and that's going to be the battle first. Of course, Andrex is going to be effective first now, maybe, considering we don't know the pit time. So Andrex just an unbelievable charge through the field. They're just showing another. I mean, considering the moves he actually made on the outside there, as you mentioned, this seems like he just has some more grip than that the others don't have. So he's just on another level on this round.
These two Audis locked in battle again. It's now for 6th position between Dopey and Migzor. The two GC Racing Audis are locked in battle once again. Door is in the middle of those doors, 5 seconds behind. And Capo is indeed in. Now let's see when the black Lamborghini reappears. That camera's useless for this particular pit lane. It was around about 23 seconds before he came in. His crew's a long way down, staying on board with Capo. You can see on the map where the guys behind Andrex now coming into Vale. There he is. And that looked like Pitty's coming in as well. It is indeed. So Midweek Coma gets loose coming through Vale. Where does Capo reappear? Where is he? Can't see him. He's just leaving.
He's actually coming out now.
That's going to be close between himself and Andrex. Where does Capo appear? There he is. So Andrex couldn't quite clear him, but Midweek Coma is very much behind Capo. Bearing in mind, Capo was behind Midweek Coma before Midweek Coma pitted. It's 2.3 or 2.5 between himself and Andrex. So it's 3 seconds behind Capo now for Midweek Coma. Certainly a gap he can recover. So that battle is not finished yet.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange decision maybe. I think the reason Midweek Coma pitted so early because that pressure from Capo was intense. It probably lasted for like 10 laps, so Midweek Coma probably wanted to pit to get rid of that pressure, but then he locked himself in that traffic, and I think that might just cost him the race here, considering how Capo got that free air and just got those super lap times, and Midweek Coma got held up there by Neptune and the guys. So yeah, it's strategy is so important as well, considering how we have these forced pit stops here. So it's so important when you get back on track, who you're fighting with and what position you're in. But here's Andrex though. He's charging for the lead now.
He is pressuring for the lead again. He won't want to force Capo into a mistake. He won't really have to with the pace that Andrex has got. He's going for the inside, coming through Chapel. Was Zane gone for the outside move? Side by side then on the hangar straight. The McLaren is in the lead. Can he get the move done before they get to Stowe to come out of the inside line? Is the Lamborghini going to tuck him behind? He does indeed. Andrex then has got from the back to the front with 7 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, I can't really believe it. This is one of those moments we had in earlier on in season 10 and 9 with Scott, who's now in tier 1. He did some of these drives just from the back and just dominated, and it's of course it's a good thing to see that it's only Andrex doing it because it's good with close racing, but it's fun to see that people actually can do that, to start from the back and just drive these rags to riches races here. It's really makes me think, because I usually when the interviews are over, I ask the drivers what they think made them so much faster, and that's actually Grease Monkey almost into the back end of Neptune there. So
that's where Pitty came out. So Pitty came out in 7th, right ahead of the McLaren. And now that's interesting. Neptune has opted to let Grease Monkey go. He's jumped to the inside and then gone off the gas to let the Lamborghini go. He felt that Grease Monkey is the quicker car, and you know as a driver who you're realistically fighting against, you know your own the McLaren of Andrex. Has he made a mistake? He's got the Lambo right alongside him. Oh my, that's not something we often see. Looking away at the battle with Neptune, Grease Monkey and Pitty, and now Capo is all over the back of the McLaren, 3.3 back to the Mercedes you see in the background, and wow, that's rather sprang out of nowhere.
Yeah, Capo is still no slouch though, considering how Andrex is really fast. He's actually caught up now to the guys that are in the front, and that means that he has to battle harder now than he has earlier on in the field here. So yeah, Capo is putting up a fight here to Andrex.
I don't know whether it's just my sound settings, but I can hear that McLaren way louder than I can the Lamborghini we're riding on board with.
Oh, it's okay, kind of the other way around for me.
Something this side then. That's fair enough. But yeah, Capo now is around about 3 seconds ahead of Midweek Coma, so he's not under any pressure behind. And now Andrex getting back into his stride. He's opened up about a second's gap just along the hangar straight. Whatever setup he's running on that McLaren is working very, very well indeed in this field. Midweek Como, as we know, is, as we mentioned, is a couple of seconds behind Door. We haven't looked at him for a while. There he is, 3.5 behind Midweek Como, 6.7 ahead of this battle. It's the two Audis of GC Racing, Dopey in 5th, Mixorn 6th, with, and behind them, about 9 seconds behind, is this battle. It's Pizzy and Grease Monkey. Oh, and again that Lamborghini either just getting very late on the brakes or just opting for a much later line through Vale. We saw him do it last time around when he had Neptune, that red McLaren directly behind him in short succession. So again, that Lambo really close to the Audi. He's going to try and force the Audi into a mistake coming through Abbey. He's managed to do the mistake. Can he get the move done now? Side by side coming towards Village. No, and the Lambo jumps back into position. But he seems to prefer braking very deep and going for a late apex as opposed to sweeping through the apex. That's quite an interesting line from Grease Monkey. Oops! And that's a big moment there from Pity. That's going to cost him some momentum. Oh, defending hard from the Lamborghini. Now Grease Monkey jumping to the inside. Neptune's not too far behind to capitalise on that either. And surely that is going to be the move then for Grease Monkey. Can he slow that down into Brooklands? Yes, he does. He scrubbed off too much speed. Now the Audi jumping on the back on the inside of Grease Monkey. That's back up into 7th then for the Audi. Pity is not letting that position go at all.
This is the fight we're actually looking for here as Grease Monkey. They're actually traded positions now again, as you said, and this, that Pity looking to. Oh, that's actually probably getting a slowdown penalty there for a corner or something, because that's...
Yeah, either that or he was just too deep in cops and just had to completely back out of it. I mean, you can't quite take it flat in these things, but if you get the line right, you can take it pretty quick. But if you get it wrong, you have to back out completely. Otherwise, you get the dreaded slowdown penalty, which can be very, very costly indeed. So that's helped Grease Monkey get up into the lead and try and run away from the Audi, but Neptune is right there on the back of Pity, challenging for that 8th position. Migzorn and Dopey, as we previously mentioned, they still battle on for 5th place, but Capo has lost the back of Andrex. Then there's now 1.2 separating the pair of them, so it's still, Capo's still there, but I think of course, with Andrex not counted for points, this is still technically a race win for the Lamborghini, still setting at 2.27. Whereas Midweek Como behind may well just have to settle for the position he's in. So that's now 4.5 seconds between himself and Capo. And there's Door actually in the Audi. So Midweek Como may have to defend that 3rd position, or essentially 2nd position, with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, as we realized earlier on in the race with the Door setting 2:01s earlier on in the race. Door
it's only 1 minute anything, then we need to ask questions. That's a strange looking GT. If he's getting the 150 somethings in the GT3, that's exceedingly impressive.
Yeah, actually, I looked up the leaderboards. The aliens are doing 158s, but that's in the time trial. I
was going to say that's with an exceedingly empty car. Oops, and that's Pity. Yeah, that's Pity's lost that one. He's ended up facing into the infield. There goes Seamus in the blue Porsche. Masses of time lost then for Pity in the Audi. So I
had a look into the data for round 1. It was with the battle between the Grease Monkey and the Pity there. So Grease Monkey qualified 6th and finished in 6th. Pity qualified in 10th and finished in 7th. So they are kind of rivals already now in the championship, and they are now here again battling for the exact same positions. So Grease Monkey getting a better hand than Pity here, considering how Pity made that mistake. Oh, that's some lag on my end.
Looking back at these two, yet again, Dopey and Migzorn continue their battle for 5th position, as Andrex has now started lap 27, 4 to go here at Silverstone. Field is pretty much, it's taken a long time for our field to spread out, but that is what they've managed to do. But as you were saying earlier, Install, the racing is very, very close in this split throughout the field, rather than having one completely strong dominators. Jump further down the field a bit. Here is Storm on the back of Trip. This is a battle for 12th. The white and pink Lamborghini chasing the black and red one as they come through Vale. Storm, a regular in the Endurance League.
Yep, Storm was in the GT5 league, and then he decided he wanted to try the GT3 league now. So he is in Tier 2 with us, and Trip with came from Tier 3, so he's been bumped up a slot, and he certainly has the... they're in 20... Yeah, so Trip being promoted from Tier 3, and he is now in the midfield in Tier 2, so that's a good position for him. Hopefully, I'm going to check where he finished in round 1, and he must have disconnected because he is not on my list here.
We have lost a few, unfortunately. Wasn't he concentrating on...
I'm totally wrong, actually. Trip qualified 7th and finished 4th, so that was a very good race for Trip there. So, yeah, Trip being further away, a little bit too far back, considering how he finished in round 1. Probably wants those positions back again from get further up the field. Probably everyone does though. But
yeah, so. Absolutely. When the racing is good, and Door's in again. Why is Door coming again? I mean, he's got plenty of fuel in the car. How strange! Unless he hasn't served his pit stop. I just assumed actually he had by now, but Door may not have actually pitted at all. So that is going to potentially drop him down to around where Pitty now is, down in 9th. That's Murphy in the bright green Porsche chasing him with Trip directly behind. No, Shameless directly behind. So the two Porsches in short succession there.
Oh, so that's Murph, and he has served this. Oh, that's the battle again. There's certainly no team orders coming through for these guys here at European League Storm.
The only reason I keep jumping around is because, of course, I can see as you oops, and that's a bit of a nudging going on there through the loop. Yeah, no team orders at all. Both of them wanting the 4th position they now find themselves in. Is this actually for the podium, the last spot on the podium? Because, of course, Andrex will not be counted in the overall standings. And Mixor making himself very, very big and known in the mirrors. Wow, Door came out in 6th. Well, effectively 5th. Wow, that was an exceedingly quick stop. So yeah, he didn't need to do anything. Didn't change tyres, didn't take fuel on, and if you don't need to do anything, you just stop and get going again. So blindingly quick then from Door. I don't think he's going to catch Mixon. There's about 9 seconds between those two and only 2.5 laps to go. So unless one of the Audis makes a mistake, Door will be in that net 5th position. This battle, 3-way battle for 9th, rages on. Pitty trying to break away from the two chasing Porsches. That's not really what you want. When you've been going this long, you just want to get to the end of the race.
Yeah, Andrex has certainly pushed through the field there, but so has Murph, I think, because Murph got, if you remember that incident further in turn 1 and lap 1. Yeah, so Murph got pushed down to 23rd position. He's now in 10th, so he's caught 13 positions now, and he's been in the pits. So Andrex not being the only one catching a fair few positions now, so yeah.
Very Murph. Nice.
And Door, I think Door was in that situation as well, so yeah, that might be why we think he just pitted his first time, so yeah, Door is fast, as we know, so...
Very much so. Yeah. Mixor and Dopey, they continue, very, very close now, through Woodcote into Cops. No, I always get that one the wrong way, because there's an old start finish line and a new start finish line. That was actually Club coming into Abbey. So they are on the penultimate lap now. Dopey doing everything he can to keep his teammate behind him. I'm curious to know whether Andrex will take the flag or whether he'll pull his car over to the side. I'm curious to know which one he's going to do. And Mixon is so quick coming through the loop compared to his teammate. That looks surely like he's going to make a move into the slipstream of his teammate. Coming down towards Brooklands, is he going to dive on the inside? And there he goes, makes himself known in the mirrors. Has put Dopey off very deep into Brooklands, but Hasme is just about to make the apex. But that's compromised his line into Lovefield. Mixon looks like he wants to get a... Well, they always want to get a decent exit. But, Dopey managed to get the traction just when he needed it to keep Mixon behind.
Wow, I just realized that these guys might actually take the team championship lead right now, considering how they are 5th and 4th. So
which will become 4th and 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. So Capo in 1st with his teammate Lindholt, and Lindholt is in 16th. And yeah, so these guys now, GC Racing with Mixhorn and Dopey, those are in second place in the team championship. So as it looks right now, they're going to take first place in the team championship. Yes, so yeah, Lindholt finishing in... trying to find him here. Yeah, Lindholt finishing in 16th the last race, so he's actually in the exact same position he was in round 1. So
final lap then, as started by Andrex, leads Capo by just under 2 seconds. Capo has got himself a 6.3 second gap to Midweek Coma. Midweek is just settling for time now because he's in the 204s for a few laps, but the next battle we've got 204.1 from Mixon, 203.3 from Dopey, gives himself nearly a second's bit of breathing room. That's exactly when he needed it as far as Dopey is concerned. So the battle for the effective last podium position continues. Back here, that's Murphy now at the head of this particular train. Pity has lost 9th place to Murphy. Sabres gets a little bit deep coming through Club. They now start the last lap now through Abbey. And what can the Audi do? Can he do anything to get back up the field? He's going to... Well, no, look how quick the Porsche was coming through Abbey and Farm. Looks like he may well just have the pace when he desperately needs it to remain in 9th place. Neptune is actually getting close to Grease Monkey, so the Lamborghini's made a mistake somewhere. But I think Neptune may well just opt to take that position he is in. Where is Andrex? There he is. He's coming out of Beckett's and into Chapel now. So he's a little way from home just yet. Keeping an eye on our Audis. They're now a second apart. Mixon may well have just opted to bring it home. You always kind of tell yourself that just bring the car home, but any opportunity that appears, you want to take it. Seamus on the back of Pity, then he wants a decent exit, which he's got. The Audi going to take that defensive line very early on. The blue Porsche nearly pushing the Audi through Cops. Now coming down towards Mackens and Beckers again. What's he going to do? And that's what I thought Andrews would do. He's actually brought his car into the pit and he's going to stay there. So that's actually going to allow Capo to be your official winner. He's allowed the black Lamborghini to take the flag. Midweek Coma is going to be second, and Dopey's just going to hang on for that final podium position. Very nicely done. Mixord is going to be 4. Here comes Dor. He's had a fairly lonely race for quite some time. He comes across the line in 5th. Grease Monkey has been chased for quite some time by Neptune. That's going to be 6th for the Lambo, 7th for the McLaren. Oh, wow, that was Seamus and Pity side by side in the last few turns. That is 4. Oh, the Audi shoving the blue Porsche wide. He wants to hang on to what is going to be 9th. Murphy comes across 8th. Pity 9. Seamus 10. Here comes Storm in the next car down the road in the white and pink Lamborghini for 11th. S4 Audi in the Soul Z4. It's fair to say he struggled a bit here at Silverstone. That's 12th. Madster in the Lamborghini. He's actually got himself a 1-second penalty. And did he lose a position? No, he didn't. He just about hung on to 13. No, he didn't. Vancine did actually overhaul him just about due to that penalty the Madster had. So the Porsche jumps up to 13. Lindholt in 15th. Dawu takes 16. Look at this chain of cars here. TBW 17. There is XCOL 18. Trip thunders his car into the wall in 19th. Relo, what started so well for him, has ended up in 20th with Exodus in 21st. And Zero Stefan, there was a lap down. And I'm assuming that Andrex is actually... Oh, he's going to cross the line. So Andrex doing the honourable thing, pulling across to allow Capo to take the flag. And there we go.
Okay then, so it's actually Capo then getting the first position yet again now in the second round. So yeah, seems like Capo is going to be in the contention for the championship here if he can keep this up. So I'm just going to put the standings up on the screen now so you can get a little bit of a look back on round 1, and if maybe you can try to get some of those the drivers into the commentary box with us. The thing we haven't really talked to them about it yet, because so many of the drivers in Tier 2 haven't been there before, so I'm gonna go ask them if they want to join. So you bear with me for a second.
Carry on, carry on.
Yeah,